Hello, everyone, and welcome to Storytime with Scrappy and Friends. My name is ScrappyFan92, and with me today are Harry,
Hi.
Joey, Raideran, and Pedriva. We are we are resuming the story of Scarlet Devil and Friends at Disney World by Noctilio, which we last read in January of this year, I believe.
Something like
Previously, the Scarlet Sisters, the vampires, and their cohorts went to a Disney park, and hilarity ensued. Flandre, the little vampire, got lost and met a new friend, and that takes us to chapter 3.
Yeah. We are short of Xavier, so he's not joining us today, unfortunately.
Yeah, we
Maybe one day, and
maybe
I'll be
we
very confused.
you're about to be confused right now because you weren't present for the first two chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it feels good to have at least one other person who knows Touhou stuff. So, because
By the by, I did not intend to have three Toho episodes in a row, but
Here we
we,
are.
Personally,
we
personally, I
had
prefer Xavier's.
for Xavier's what?
Xavier's.
Personally,
I've
I
only
prefer the air.
I've only heard it pronounced as Xevious, so pardon me. Uh, I've not heard of the name of that game in a good while. And Harry, why are you hurting the horses?
Wait, Xevious? Yo, I love Xevious.
Yeah, 3D plus G is a great game.
Anyway,
My childhood is that game. That and Mr. Driller.
anyway, as Harry mentioned, Xavier is not present because I don't know, he's busy with something. So yes, we have Raideran and Pedriva to take over for his roles.
in before he
Yeah.
just pops in out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, since it's late in Harry's time zone, let's get to it.
Mhm.
This is Scarlet Devil and Friends at Disney World by Noctilio. Chapter 3, Space Mountain's Yokai Girl. And the author was so nice to even give us a summary. Sakia and Mei Ling finally caught a glimpse of what might be Flandre and chase after her. However, with her new stealth expert friend, it's no easy feat. Rumilia, however, manages to catch up. Sakia swore she couldn't be mistaken. She had seen a rainbow glow going directly into what seemed to be one of those forbidden thrill rides. She shoved everyone in her way to the side and pushed all the way to Space Mountain. Mei Ling was barely able to keep up. Hey, slow down. What's the plan now?
We'll get her out of there even if it kills us.
Us? Meanwhile, the young vampire and her three-eyed best friend were on their eighth consecutive run of Space Mountain. They were fine.
I'm sorry.
They were fine, really. They were both very resilient to headaches and nausea, unlike two librarians from earlier.
Is it me?
Either Koishi or Flandre, I'm not sure which is which.
I'm pretty sure this is Flandre.
Yeah, Flandre.
1 second. Okay. Where am I? Hey! 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 Are there any other rides like this? I want a new flavor of this speedy thing.
Sure, follow me. I'll take you somewhere new.
Sakia, gosh darn. Sakia, did you really think it was a good idea to get ourselves into the queue?
Of course, Mei Ling. If we're in there, surely she must be too. There's no way she'd go around.
Right as you said this, the rainbow-winged vampire was happily trotting backwards on the VIP line towards the exit. Sakia pinched herself to make sure she did not hallucinate this, and once again accepted her fate as she was going to have to experience the infamous thrill ride before the chase could resume. Back to square one.
Even if it kills us. Huh.
Nighttime in Tomorrowland was magical. Of course, all of the park was magical to Flandre's eyes, but there was just something about this yeah, something about this fictional modernity that just intrigued and fascinated her. She was still following Koichi around, getting more and more used to disobedience from her new role model. The older yokai kid stops for a bit and turned back to Flandre with eyes sparkling.
By the way, have you stopped to get yourself a stuffed friend yet?
N- No, I haven't. Sakia told us we'd do this last.
Well then, let's get you something in that store over there. It's on me.
Remelia was Remelia was walking fast. She wasn't stopping. She was on hyper-vigilance for a sign of her sister by now. She was looking at every single child of her height, almost scanning them with her gaze even. It finally hit her that Flandre had no prior experience to public spaces, let alone unsupervised. She had solved an incident, yes, but not only was Okina with her, but this was back in Gensokyo. Here, no one was familiar with the place, and she had no guidance from her patron sage. She had to move fast before collateral damage would occur.
Scrappy?
Uh-oh.
We apologize for these technical difficulties. Storytime Scrappy will be back in
Did
a moment.
Scrappy die?
Yes.
Oh, well, rip.
Died on the job.
Oh no. Do 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 do.
You'll have to forgive me, my internet
Hi.
cut out. Raideran, could you repeat the line again?
Oh,
Or hate-
we didn't even make it to the
Yeah, we didn't
line.
even get to that part.
I
Yeah.
It
hate my
stopped right
computer.
when you said before collateral damage would occur.
Yeah, you had one more sentence to go.
I hate my
Storytime
computer.
Scrappy is a professional fanfiction reading.
Please return to your scheduled program.
3, 2, 1. She was mad at how unbalanced their sisterly bond had gotten, with Amelia barely doing as much for Flandre's sake than the other way around,
This was her trip too, darn it.
mumbled the vampire under her breath.
This was her birthday trip too. And I just had to make this happen, didn't I?
She started walking even faster. She was mad. Mad at herself.
I can't really watch my own darn tongue, can I?
For a rare moment, Remelia actively reconsidered her actions. Oh, Mickey Mouse, you truly work wonders. Remelia stopped for the first time ever since she wandered off alone as she looked at a gift shop, glowing and sparkling with futuristic light strips.
Sakuya told us to make our gifts special, didn't she?
The vampire princess allowed herself an express halt to her chase and got into the store.
So what if I picked yours?
Flandre was hugging every single plush toy in the store. She was making extra sure not to hug them too tight. She was hopping left and right, trying on hats, holding little trinkets and whatnot, as Koichi was looking for a new friend herself, not too far away. Suddenly, one stuffed animal caught the young vampire's eyes in particular. A blue canine-like creature with black eyes had all her attention. She tugged onto Koichi's sleeve, pointing at it.
What's this one? I like it.
Ah, I love this one too. He's an alien. Have you seen this movie?
I haven't. Please, tell me who he is.
He he destroys everything he touches, but he learns the meaning of family after he got stranded on Earth.
Flandre was taken aback a little by this description. This hit way too close to home to leave her indifferent.
I want one.
Good choice.
She picked up her new friend and allowed herself to hold it a little tighter than the ones before. Suddenly, however, she stopped, longingly stared at it, and after a long sigh, she put it back.
What's wrong, Flander?
I don't want to choose a friend for me.
You want to bring something to your sister, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I'll help. What's she like?
Well,
Vermelia, Vermelia herself was browsing on her for Pete's sake, rental cell phone to get the lore for every single stuffed animal she'd come across. She'd pick it up, read the tag, type the name, and had gotten very accustomed to the wikis very quickly. A modern library, she supposed. It was very helpful, and she had learned a whole lot of character names and stories in the span of a few minutes.
Let's see. Minnie? No. Goofy? No. Oh, Nala maybe. And no. Maleficent? She'd be for me. Focus, Remelia, focus. Stop being selfish for once.
She kept going on like this, not paying attention to the sounds around her, when suddenly she saw a blue creature on the shelf.
Well, well, well. Who are you?
Tag in one hand, followed by the sound of her red claws tapping on the device's screen with the other. Stitch.
Come on, come on. Give me something to work with here.
Alien, about 3 feet tall, made to destroy. Finds the meaning of family through a human girl. Oh, come on, that's way too on the nose to pass. She grabbed the little fellow, delightfully chuckling at the contact of the soft material he was made of, and brought him to the staff lady. She had made a good purchase. She was content, and less mad at herself. Now she had something to patch things up with Flandre, right in her backpack for later. She was ready to resume the pace when...
Remy?
the Scarlet Sisters found themselves walking out of the same store. They stared at each other in silence for a little while. They didn't really know what to say. Were they mad at each other? Was this okay? Did they ruin each other's fun?
I'm sorry.
Started Flandre, breaking eye contact in shame.
I didn't mean to run off again. And I know I'm sorry. Wait, fuck.
Wait,
Dyslexia is a
you,
bitch. Dyslexia is a bitch.
you went backwards.
I started reading the same line twice. Okay, well, let me redo this from the beginning, thank you. I'm sorry.
Started Flandre, breaking eye contact in shame.
I didn't mean to run off again, and I know I can get rash and emotional and
Thank you, Joey. There was no need to apologize earlier. The embrace of her older sister cut her apologies short. Koichi, who withdrew herself in the corner for a little bit, smiled gently.
It's okay, Flan. I'm sorry too. I should have known you'd get hurt by my words. I'll stay with you from now on, alright?
Flandre held her even tighter, tearing up a little from relief. The older vampire, usually smug and bratty, gently patted her sister's head, giving her the most genuine smile she had given her sister in centuries. What was it with this place making people get along, almost magically?
You've done well on your own. I'm proud of you.
I wasn't on my own.
You weren't?
Alright.
No, that's good. No, she wasn't. She was with me.
Koichi finally came closer to the group, shaking Remelia's hand like a business girl. The Scarlet Devil barely processed this sudden entrance.
And you are? Koishi. Koishi Komeiji. Expert of this park and Flanders' new best friend. Ah, I see.
Remelia turned her head to her sister with a concerned look on her face. Flandre did the popular dance out of excitement. What? Remelia turned her head to her sister with a concerned look on her face. Flandre did the popular dance out of excitement, to which Koichi responded with the same. The
I'm
Scarlet
guessing
Devil.
they're just Fortnite dancing.
Yeah, I think it is because they did that in like the first chapter.
Oh my gosh. I'm happy I wasn't here for that.
French justice? Default dance?
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
The Scarlet Devil shrugged and sighed.
Very well. You can stay with us if you'd like. We'll just have to catch up with Sakuya and.
Big sis, can we just stay by ourselves a little longer?
What? But Sakuya said we.
I want to have fun with you and just you.
There it was. Remelia's one chance to make her complicated bond with her sister feel right. After hesitating for a little, the eternally young Scarlet Moon chuckled, patting Flandre and Koishi's backs.
Very well. Show me what you know.
Meanwhile, Team Maiden Gatekeeper was finally getting in their shuttle. The queue was longer than teacups, that's for sure. Or the queue for that was longer than for the teacups, that's for sure. Sakuya was mortified at the notion of all the precious time she had been wasting over acting rash. Hacholi, Kawakama, and Remelia were all probably waiting in Main Street already. But no, they were in a thrill ride by accident. How were they going to explain this one to the others? I have a bad feeling about this Sakuya.
Oh, really, Mei Ling? Really?
Thud. Their shuttle unlocked and started moving towards the platform. The pre-recorded voice started counting down. Hey! Wait. Hey, what are they counting down for?
Well, that's the time we have until we meet the friends on the other side, my dear.
I get that. Ah, of course. Of course. Yuck, this is Goofy here, counting down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom.
Kaboom.
The gatekeeper and the maid were launched into the flashing tunnel. The loops, the gravity-defying spins, the upside-down part of the track in complete darkness. Mei Ling was screaming for dear life, desperately clinging onto the thick harness, eyes shut. Sakuya, however, was silent. She was a finger away from passing out on the seat, blankly gazing into the stars, convinced this would be the last thing she'd see. This is all a bad dream. This is all a bad dream, she repeated to herself, praying she'd wake up. Was this some kind of twisted punishment she'd just walked into? Just, how could anyone willingly ride this and enjoy this? Flandre, she could kind of understand, but mortals? Were they out of their minds? The two space travelers could barely walk straight when they got out of the shuttle. They took a minute to sit down at the exit. At the exit, the factory reset their brains after the shock they had just gone through. Well, congratulations, Sakuya. We almost died.
I am very aware of this, Mei Ling.
Well, it's a good thing we don't have any of this, whatever this was, back in Gensokyo.
You're right. I miss the mansion more now than I ever have.
Kawakama and Pacholi would have passed on to the afterlife if they were here.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of which, Team Librarian didn't say where they were going to investigate. And that is the end of chapter 3.
Yeah, I just want to say something. The Space Mountain in Disney World doesn't have loops, so this person must be French. Because the only Space Mountain that has loops is the Space Mountain in Disneyland Paris.
Oh, oops.
But I've
Yeah.
never been on a space mountain because every time I've gone, the wait was 5
2 hours
hours.
plus. Yeah.
5 hours.
good.
5 hours.
Yeah,
300 minutes.
I've
Last
never
time
actually
I
got.
went, it was on a Wednesday, and the wait was 2.5 hours long. So just imagine going on an actual peak day.
Yeah, I've never actually gone to Disneyland before, so
The lines are horrifying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really bad.
Yeah, and
I'd
it's not.
imagine so.
Yeah, and it's usually not because of like ride operations. It's usually just because there are a billion people in Disneyland.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd
So
imagine.
what
everybody's
you
just
do
there.
is you go on a rainy weekday.
Yeah,
Fun.
yeah.
That's
The best days
that's
to
the
go to
only
Disneyland
way
are
to
like
enjoy Disneyland. Go on a
Yeah.
rainy weekday in the middle of winter.
yeah, like Tuesdays and Thursdays are really good.
So
I've
a
gotten some
rainy
40-minute wait
Thursday
times
in
instead.
winter.
Yeah, perfect. There'll probably be nobody there.
Yes. No need for fast pass.
Yeah,
And get fast pass anyway because there's gonna be that one school
get fast
trip.
pass to flex on
That
people.
one school trip.
Yeah,
There's a
or it's like,
picture there's a picture I'm looking for, but I can't find it. God damn it. It must be somewhere else then.
So to be fair, one time at Fort Park, I was waiting in line for Colossus, and 2 ducks were having a fight to the death while we were waiting in line.
pretty raw.
Nice. Wait, wait, wait.
No, not nice. Ducks fight fucking viciously.
Wait.
Wah.
Alright
Evil
then.
bastards.
I just love that, like, you imagine them fighting each other, but you know that the only sound they're making is, like, tapping noises and wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
Are we ready to read chapter 4?
I am.
Yeah.
This.
Alright, so this is chapter 4. Girls' secret meet and greet. Gotcha. Girls' secret meet and greet session. Summary. Not seeing either Sakya, Mei Ling, or Vermilia return, Team Librarian decides to investigate further. Pacholi, being a natural genius, decides to think outside the box, to apply Flandre's mindset onto herself. And so it begins. Main Street. An hour had passed already. Everything was according to plan. The 2 librarians were at the meetup spot everyone had agreed on. Sakya was not the type to lose track of time, and Vermilia valued order above all else. Nothing could have gone wrong. So why were Pacholi and Kawakama the only ones under the designated street lamp? What went wrong?
Sorry. Maybe they stopped for a little break. You know, according to the pamphlet, it's a pretty long walk. They must be tired.
Kawakama, I appreciate the concern, but this is not helping.
I have read the wrong line.
Yeah, I was just about to say you guys were supposed to do that backwards.
Yes.
Gosh darn it.
I was like, this doesn't seem right, so I went and checked, and it was like, yeah.
You want to
Yeah,
try
maybe that's
again,
what-
or just keep going?
Well, maybe they stopped for a little break. You know, according to the pamphlet, it's a pretty long walk. They must be tired.
Kawakama, I appreciate the concern, but it's not helping.
Right. Heavy silence for around 10 seconds. Kawakama turned to Pacholi, about to say something again, but stopped herself to reconsider. Silence again.
I knew it was a terrible idea to leave Dimension.
I think it's my,
No.
I think that's my line.
I swear to God.
I
It's
knew it.
not hard to put a said person at the end. It's not a script, but it would be nice.
I knew it was a terrible idea to leave the mansion.
Uh-oh.
Well, Scrappy's died again.
Scrappy has died.
Oh, for the love of.
Oh, Scrappy
oh,
has been reincarnated.
He's back. Nice and
Record time.
fast. Yeah.
Nice. Chapter 4 is going to consume us.
Scrappy Dappy Doo. Here he is.
There he is.
She
There
sells
he
she
is.
sells by the seashore.
There he is.
I knew it was a terrible idea to leave the mansion, but nobody listens to me. Look where that got us.
Hello.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
Can anyone hear?
No, I just think that we got it right the first time and then we switched it around again because of
Yeah.
the sentence
It is-
structure.
Patchouli first. Kawakama.
For the love of, I can't count. Yeah,
It's Patchouli first. Trust me.
Yeah, because later
I
it says
was
Pokemon, I think you're right.
All right, I knew it was a terrible idea to leave the mansion, etc., etc. We could go look around for Remelia, for Flandre, and for the other team, right?
And get ourselves all messed up even further.
No. Sorry.
Kawakama, I think you're right.
Pardon me?
If they're lost, we have to get lost ourselves to find them. That's actually a good idea.
I'm not sure if I follow where you're going, but
Nothing has worked so far because we were thinking rationally. It all makes perfect sense.
the mage was pacing back and forth in front of the increasingly distressed devil girl. She looked more like a mad scientist figuring out a complex theorem than the gloomy shut-in park attendee she was merely seconds ago. She was talking almost without stopping for a breath. The speed of her words was matching that of the ideas flashing in her brain, taking the problem apart bit by bit.
How could I not have seen this before? Flandre is not rational. She's erratic, unpredictable. She's in the here and now, never looks back or forward. She doesn't care about consequences or the repercussions. That's it. That's it. We have to turn off our massive brains. Eureka! Fuck. Fucking names. Kawakama. We have to become the 495-year-old vampires ourselves.
Lady Patchouli, I don't think that's how it works.
Come on, Kawakama. The clock is ticking.
The little, gosh darn it, the little devil stared, perplexed, at her mentor. Finally going into the, going into the very crowd she despised so much. Was Patchouli losing her mind? Was Kawakama seeing things? She was now having second thoughts about the sanity of the theme park itself. This looked like an incident in the making where they would all be at fault for something. They are all mad here. The skittish demon girl hesitated a little, and finally decided to half-heartedly follow the mage into her masterfully foolish plan. Lady Patchouli, does that mean you're finally going to enjoy the park?
Oh, I'm not Patchouli anymore. I'm Flandre. You're Flandre. Sayuka and Mei Ling are probably Flandre too. Right now. Come on. Four of a kind. Don't you know anything?
Actually, with my due respect, counting the real Flandre, that's 5 of a kind.
See? Perfect example. I can't count properly anymore. It's working, and I probably can't read either.
I like this. I
Now
like this a
come
lot.
along, my trusted partner. We have to find the most irresponsible things to do in this wretched land, and fast. And
This is a
there
good
goes
Patchouli.
the unmoving great library again. More mobile.
I think that's just
Yeah,
narrator.
that's just new narrator time.
just, just fuck it. Character. The characters that are narrator now.
Yeah. Her brain has just become so degraded that she starts to narrate everything she does. It makes sense to me.
Speedwagon was afraid.
Speed, we're gone.
And there goes the unmoving great library again, more mobile than she had ever been in her century-long lifespan. The little devil wanted to dissuade her, but she was the one who started this. She could only follow. Meanwhile, the original specimen of crystal-winged chaos was happily dragging her sister left and right across the park, blissfully unaware of everyone failing to pick up her trail. Romelia was getting used to it fast, enjoying it even. She was so used to maintaining her image around Sakia, to showing herself in her best behavior, and keeping the role of the Scarlet Devil, that she had forgotten what it truly felt like to let herself be vulnerable, to allow herself to be a child. It felt strangely empowering, even more so over being a vampire of all things. Koishi, still enjoying her role as a tour guide, was suggesting multiple rides of many flavors, in every hue and shape.
Say, have you two ever been on Pirates of the Caribbean? Uh, we're vampires. We don't do very well with water.
You mean you don't do very well with water?
Yeah, alright. Stop flexing your crazy water training, Flan. That's so mean.
The Crimson Rainbow Girl, proud of herself for being immune to running water, did the popular dance under Vermilia's nose again, only for the Scarlet Devil to groan and hold her own head in her hands in agony.
It's okay. No worries.
Hummed the yokai girl, happily twirling.
I'll take you somewhere else.
They would have little back and forths like this. They stopped by Cinderella's castle, the vampires going ooh and ah at the scenery and attention to detail. Remilia, who had been on the wikis regularly in a toy shop, finally had something to teach to her little sister. Kingdom Hearts lore.
Let's go!
No!
Darkness!
Hearts, darkness,
The Keyblade!
Keyblade!
Hi,
Koishi-
I'm Sora, and these are my friends, Donald and Goofy.
Every time.
Something man sex.
Yeah.
No.
Mansex. Got it memorized?
Keyblade!
No,
Keyblade.
Joey, do
I
the
regret this.
Joey, do the
You brought this upon yourself.
do the Zemnis voice.
No.
Oh,
Koishi would
it's
add
been
some
years.
trivia. Koishi would add some trivia and fun facts in between to inform both of them of something new.
This is the most fun I've had in centuries.
Thought the Scarlet Devil, fondly looking at her younger sister leading the way to their next ride. Thinking like Flandre proved itself to be rather difficult to the two librarians. Kawakama just simply could not get in character. Pacioli, however, was convinced she was doing it right. They were wandering about aimlessly in the entirety of Magic Kingdom, running in circles and seemingly not making any progress. Lady Pacioli.
Sorry. I got a little lost there, sorry. Shh! You're disturbing the study!
But according to the pamphlet,
Ah, you're right. Kawakama gave me that pamphlet, please. Let me see something.
delighted at the small chance of Pacioli returning to the careful planner approach, Kawakama gave her notes to her search partner, only to see Pacioli shove it into her own purse without looking.
This is getting in the way of our plan to become lost children. Oh my fucking god. No more of this. No more of the real us until we become true vampiric Peter Pans.
And with that, she resumed the chase into Frontierland, where the harsh reality would land onto them both. They were immediately greeted by the sound of screams of all ages. The two bookworms looked up. The two bookworms looked up, horrified at their first sight of Big Thunder Mountain. Even though it was a Even though it was a lighter thrill ride, the two librarians looked at each other in anguish. They knew this was the kind of ride Flandre would enjoy. Not brave enough to strap in for the experience, they backed down, trying to think of an alternative.
I underestimated this Kawakuma. We're not strong enough to become Flandre.
Well, there has to be some other way. She's not one-faceted, is she? The mage sighed. What else would Flandre be into that wouldn't get her or Kawakuma killed in this atrocious land?
Alright, Kawakuma, you win. Back to the pamphlet it is. We're only half Flandre now.
Patrolli took her familiar's notes out of her purse and studied them thoroughly. There was the Patrolli Kawakuma knew and cherished. It had only been 10 minutes, but she dearly missed the bookworm.
Let's see. If I was an entirely useful vampire princess, I'd stick around Fantasyland. I'd stick around Fantasyland the most, for it looks like home. Your thoughts, Kawakuma? Anything to confirm or deny?
Well, if I may add, she is the adventurous, curious kind, much like her sister.
So she'd try out the unfamiliar. Noted. Thank you.
She gave her familiar a gentle smile before looking at the pamphlet again. She sighed.
If only there was a way to get her to come to us instead. You know, running is not my forte.
Back to the vampiric Peter Pans.
Not quite. I'd like to attract her like a moth to a flame if possible.
Well then, Lady Patrolli, an idea might be right in front of us. Patrolli lifted her head from her familiar's pamphlet, only for her jaw to drop at the sight of a giant yellow dog, black ears drooping and green collar, with a massive line of children and adults alike, waiting for their turn to take pictures, get autographs and hugs from the human-sized beast. The purple mage was in awe. She wasn't quite sure what she was looking at.
Kawakuma, can you analyze and break down the creature for me?
What creature?
The one you just told me to look at, of course. That giant canine. That creature.
Lady Pacioli, this is a human in a costume. To those words, the entirety of the unmoving great library's face started lighting up. The thought of her already fast thought process was quadrupling.
Come, Kawakuma. We have to see this creature from up close.
You mean to the queue?
Yes, Kawakuma. Off to the queue.
Kawakuma smiled, finally seeing a chance that Pacioli might start enjoying the park after all. She happily followed suit, and the two librarians found themselves waiting for their turn to interact with Pluto, smiling at each other. Maybe, after all, the 495-year-old vampire had something to teach them in the end. Meanwhile, Team Maid and Gatekeeper was livening up and uplifting their spirits after the horrors of Space Mountain. Where exactly? Well, what else better than to get some food and drinks between two rides, obviously. Sakia was relieved to not be in charge of the cooking for once, and it really showed.
So these, what are they called again, Maylene?
Burgers, Sakia. They're burgers with side fries.
Yes, naturally. And this peculiar drink?
I think the lady said cola? She said the kids around here were big fans of this kind of menu.
Yes, yes.
Sakia wasn't quite sure what to think. what to think of the crude and polished look of her menu. Was this really edible? She could only try. Well, this wasn't bad. She could understand why this type of meal was so successful. It was almost rejuvenating in some way. Exactly what she needed after the experience she just went through. So, how would you rate this one, Handmaid?
Well, it's not healthy in the slightest, but it does wonders to your mood. I give this one a B+.
That's all fine and dandy, Sakia, but you know you don't have to eat junk food the same way you'd eat in a five-star restaurant. It's just a burger, you know. Just dig in and have fun.
Mitsuru Persona 3.
Sakia stopped for a moment and wondered what Vermilia would think of this. After all, she was known for being an especially picky eater.
That was delicious!
The Scarlet Devil exclaimed herself, walking out of the same food place Sakia and Mei Ling were currently in. Once again, neither side knew how close they were to meet up. After all, actually, it seemed to have entirely left Vermilia's mind. She seemed to focus more on her sister and her new friend than on what was the right thing.
Sister, you truly have found us the best park guide. I'm impressed. Seriously, what was your name again? It's Koishi. It's okay though, people forget my name a lot. Koishi, of course. Well, seriously, you've got a knack for finding the best things to do around here. I have to thank my sister for running off earlier. We wouldn't have met you. Mhm. I think that one's Flander.
It sure is.
Okay. you you really mean that?
Of course, little sister. I owe this one to you. I'm having the time of my eternal life.
Flandre happily chimed her wings in response to this. She had done something right in the end. She glanced at Koichi, waiting for a sign, who immediately gave her a gentle nod and withdrew a little.
Actually, Big Sis?
Yes?
Well, remember how we met at a toy store?
Right. I think there's something I need to show you.
Wait, you too?
The two Scarlet Sisters gasped at each other. Koichi chuckled in the distance. Of course, the two would have gotten each other presents. She knew everything after all. Kawakuma and Pacholi were next in line to see the creature. Even though Kawakuma said it was a human under there, she was still intrigued. This didn't feel right. This really looked like the humans of this world had brought one of their characters of their mythos from their myths to life. The family in front of them finally left. The mage got in the meet and greet area first, Kawakuma gesturing that she'd observe and take notes.
Greetings. I'm here to investigate. Have you seen a vampire child about this tall? Oof!
Before Pacholi could finish her sentence, this Pluto creature had already embraced the mage. This felt strangely comforting. Pacholi would not even pull back. She was finally starting to it was finally starting to click with her why this park was called the Magic Kingdom.
Alright. This is cute, I'll admit. But we're looking for some body.
Pluto did not say a word and started doing a funny little dance around her, grabbing her hands and spinning in circles gently. Maybe after all, it was a creature. She really could not tell. What she could tell, however, was that she was inevitably warming up to the parks. Kawakuma chuckled at the endearing scene, which got Pluto's attention. There he was, holding both of the librarian's hands and skipping to the beat of the area music. And something magical was happening. Pacholi was laughing. It had been hours. Pardon?
No, sorry.
It had been hours, hours of her complaining, and the unmoving great library was finally laughing, having fun. Kawakama felt so happy about this that her eyes were getting blurry, just a little bit. Remilia was digging through her backpack, occasionally looking up and grinning at her little sister who was doing the same. Who would have thought, huh? Who would have thought?
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. I'll count to 3, and I'll take your gift out of my stuff. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
The two vampires handed each other their plastic bags and started inspecting them. They took 2 plush toys out. In unison, they asked each other,
In
Want me to count
unison.
down for
In
you?
unison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
How
How
did you
did you
know?
know?
Good enough.
the crystal winged vampire could not believe how well her sister knew her. She hugged her stitch tighter than she had hugged anything in the store. It was hers this time. She could afford to hug it without holding back. She looked up and closed in towards her sister to watch her with bated breath, waiting on what she'd say about her own dragon Maleficent.
Sorry. So, do you like her?
Yeah, I was looking at her in the store earlier. How did you know which one I wanted?
Well, I've been stuck with a bratty, powerful, cool, and mean big sister since birth.
Vermilia chuckled and pulled Flandre in for a hug. The younger vampire wrapped her arms around her sister's neck gently. This, right here, was more magical than the park itself.
Well, I'm glad you're stuck with me. There's no better problem child to be. Wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no better problem child to be stuck with.
And I'll stay your biggest problem forever.
Koichi got closer to the group and gave them both a warm smile. She knew what this felt like. She had one of these too. Flandre turned to her three-eyed friend and gave her a mischievous wink, to which Koichi gasped and excitedly winked back. The both of them turned to Vermilia.
Big sis?
Yes, Flander?
The little sisters both chuckled.
There's a ride we haven't showed you yet.
Say, have you ever been to space?
The staff took pictures of the two librarians and the strange dog, Pacholi finally having learned to enjoy the park. Their session had finally ended, and a staff member guided them out of the meet and greet area. Pacholi longingly looked back as she watched Pluto welcome the next family in line. Well, Lady Pacholi, now what do we do?
We have to get those pictures printed out immediately.
Wait, what about the sisters? Right as Kawakama said that, Pacholi felt her heart drop 15 feet into the ground as a familiar chime could be heard.
Kawakuma, did you hear that?
I'd recognize that sound anywhere.
So, what did you think of Space Mounting, big sis?
That was half terrifying, half awesome. I didn't think I'd enjoy it this much. You really surpassed yourself.
Even though you cried like a baby the whole time?
Shut up. That was a good cry. You cry when you're happy too, don't you know?
The older vampire playfully nudged her sister with her elbow.
You were scared.
I was not. I am the Scarlet Devil. I was just pretending.
You were scared, devil in there.
The crystal winged child was playfully running in circles around her older sister as they walked to wherever their next location was. Rumilia, embarrassed, was playfully shooing her sister away, which made her want to run in circles even faster.
I told you, Flan. Sometimes thrill is fun. Don't you know that, of all people?
So you admit it. You were scared.
The librarian started moving fast into the crowd, looking left and right, almost fully synchronized with each other when, finally, Kawakamo was first to locate the rainbow glow in the crowd. But she couldn't believe what she was seeing. Lady Patchouli
Have you located Flandre?
and Lady Remilia, yes. And that is the end of chapter 4.
That was a long one.
I feel like Jason Griffith over here.
Hi,
Long time no see.
I'm Jason Griffith.
Hi, I'm Jason Griffith.
Might even open the gates of hell.
Okay. Scarlet Devil and Friends of Disney World. Okay, so alright, this is it, the final chapter.
Finally.
Final countdown.
Yeah.
Now for fun I might read the narration like in a different Disney character voice until I, either trip, give up, or just get muted by all of you, so
Yeah, let's
let's see how that
go.
works out.
Yeah.
Chapter 5, Embodiment of Magic Kingdom. Oh, wondering for what seemed forever, Patchouli and Kawakama finally managed to catch up with the Scarlet Sisters.
There it is.
He's already
There it
broken.
is.
Mickey's already dead, guys.
When they finally face each other, they realize none of them were really lost and decide to stay lost for longer. Sakuya, however, is still the last person on the team who hasn't managed to, oh gosh darn it,
There
to
it is.
let it go for once.
Let it go, Scrappy.
Ow. However, the night is short. They have to make the most of it before sunrise. The librarian was just a little too short.
For fuck's sake!
The librarian was just a little too short to see the vampires for herself. But she followed Kawakama's lead, carefully playing hot and cold with how close the jingle of Flandre's rainbow wings sounded.
Are you Goofy or Applejack?
He can be either one
Yeah.
he wants.
Apples, 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 apples.
It was a good thing she made noise at every step for that reason. Yuck, she thought.
Scrappy, who's paying you to do this?
Oh my god, you know what? I hear it now.
In some kind of way, this was also fun.
Check your PayPal, check your PayPal.
Oh god.
Next up, the role of narrator will be played by Scar from The Lion King.
Let's go.
Simba.
I killed Mufasa!
I
Patchouli.
killed your father, and next I'll kill you, and then all
Long
of Pride
live
Rock
the
will be
king.
mine.
I know that your powers of retention.
There we go. Patchouli wasn't going at a fast pace at all. She wasn't chasing them like she...
We're gonna get to one of my lines, and I'm gonna be so fucking lost.
She wasn't chasing them like she thought she'd have. This isn't even. It's not even. Who is this? It's some vaguely British or English sounding Disney villain, but it's not Scar.
Who, me?
Wasn't
It's you.
chasing them like she thought she'd have to. She was politely repeating. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, sorry, excuse me, as she made her way into the crowd, and with a smile on her face at that.
Is he gone?
Did he die?
All
Here's
right.
what's the
Ha-
theme park
ha-
experience.
ha-
Okay.
Oh well.
What?
All right. Yep. That was a third one right there.
Yep. At least it's always ending right at the end of a sentence, you know?
Can you all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Storytime with Scrappy is recorded in front of a live Twitch audience. And these degenerates.
These degenerates.
Hold on. His interaction with Pluto. Gosh darn.
Fuck's sake.
This interaction with Pluto made her gain 10 years worth of theme park experience. She looked in her element as she followed the little devil, doing the same.
Little dog.
To think she'd face the masses of tourists with such ease. Oh gosh darn it, it's a long one. Thank you. The unmoving great library finally tapped on her vampiric friend's shoulder. Remelia knew who this was just by the way she'd make contact. She grimaced a little and muttered her sister's name with gritted teeth under her breath. That was a clear line reading, right?
Yep.
Yes, it was.
Flandre and Koichi turned back, and the younger vampire's nonchalant smile turned into a frown of anguish. They caught up. The fun was over. She was in for trouble again, she thought. The two vampires were looking at each other. One was awkward, not really sure how to explain how she got there, and the other was feeling awfully guilty. She was prepared to get scolded again for causing trouble.
Patchouli, I can explain.
Said Flandre in a weak, defeated tone, fidgeting nervously, wrapping herself in her wings in shame. She knew Pacioli was often in disfavor of Flandre's actions. She knew she didn't hold her in high regard. She was prepared for a scolding, but she was responded to with a soft, gentle smile from Pacioli. The Scarlet Sisters exchanged confused looks again as the mage drew closer.
I took pictures with a cast member.
Whispered the librarian, eyes dancing towards corners of the floor to avoid contact.
What character was that supposed to be?
Snow White.
Oh.
I can't say anything. I haven't heard Snow White in years.
Very falsetto. Or just very high pitch. It wasn't good, but that was what I was going for. I'm gonna stop now so the story can stand on its own. So the story cannot be destroyed. Let me just rephrase that.
We're beyond that at this point. That's my line.
I'm having fun too.
I'm having fun too.
Flandre's eyes widened as she exclaimed, loud enough to break glass.
Wait, really?
The entirety of the entourage, as well as some unfortunate nearby strangers, flinched at the noise. Remelia chuckled and fondly patted her younger sister's shoulder in her signature, I understand, but please don't do that again, way. She then turned to her longtime friend.
We thought you hated this place. What happened to you?
Did you fall? Wait, who's this?
I think it's Flandre.
Okay. Did you fall over on your head? The library in your head okay? Is it all shuffled?
Pacioli didn't really know what to tell the vampires. She was a little embarrassed, yeah, but still, this newfound happiness was all she had was all she had on her was all she had on her mind. She wanted more of this. This was her one shot to bring this experience back to the library with her. For study, she'd say if Marissa or Alice asked. She handed Vermelia her picture printout ticket.
Can we get my pictures printed?
Of course. Oh, my bad.
Right. Technically, but no. I want to get. I want to get. Fuck's
Frame
sake.
them.
Rah! I want to frame them above my main desk.
Of course. Want to hang out with us a little longer?
Yes. I'd like to see more cast members if that's okay.
Then let's go. We've picked up a really good tour guide on the way. You're getting the true experience. Right, Flander?
Yeah!
Meanwhile, Team Maid and Gatekeeper had arrived at the designated Main Street pole, only to find no vampires and no librarians underneath. They were the only ones who showed up. Sakia was rubbing her eyebrows in agony. How did we mess up this badly? She kept repeating to herself. Mei Ling had run out of things to say to help with the search. She was clueless on how to find the young mistresses. However, she thought, maybe she could help brighten Sakia's evening a little. Sakia, Sakia, you know, if they were in trouble, you'd probably see signs of their discontent. Accidents and all that, you know, dismembered heads of the Roger Rabbit cast members.
No!
Look
Not
around.
Jessica Rabbit.
Look around you. Do you see anything?
Mei Ling, I've not been able to see anything but laughing children and parents for the past 4 hours.
Exactly. You would have seen people screaming in broken windows by a mile had something gone wrong. Trust me, they're doing fine right now. Sakia turned around, not quite sure what Mei Ling meant by pointing this out.
I'd never forgive myself if something happened to them, or because of them.
I know. But you've been tense since even before we got here, and I was hoping I could see you have fun like them. Sakia didn't really know how to respond, of course. The safety of Vermelia and Flandre was all she had on her mind. Mei Ling gently patted her co-worker's back. You know, maybe this place has something for you too. If we have fun for a little while, we're bound to run into them again, and on better terms. I have faith in our Vermelia, and I believe that you can have time to look after yourself too. So, what do you say?
Mei Ling?
The maid hesitated a little bit. This was tough. She'd always put Vermelia first. Wait. She'd always put Vermelia first, but Vermelia wouldn't like to see Sakia unhappy, especially here. Would she? Sakia smiled at Mei Ling and gave her a nod of approval.
Thank you.
So, you said your name was.
Koishi. Koishi Komeiji. I'm your friend's sister's friend, which makes me your friend too.
Right. Koishi. And you said your family was. Where exactly?
Flandre had just realized now that Koichi had never really said anything about her sister ever since they met.
Yeah, what about your big sis? We should probably try and find her, right?
Oh, don't worry. Big Sis and my pets are exactly where I left them.
Yeah, that's great.
It took 10 seconds of thinking for Flandre to realize this did not, in fact, sound right.
Where did you leave them?
At the hotel, of course. Where else would they be?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Vermilia, unlike her sister this time, picked up immediately how off this sounded.
You left your family at the hotel? Well, yeah, they're sound asleep right now. I simply couldn't miss out. Ah, yes, of course. Diurnal yokai, huh? I understand.
None of the Scarlet Sisters seemed concerned that Koichi was seemingly either nocturnal or skipping sleep to sneak out. Pacholi, too awkward to say anything, leaned to the side to whisper to her familiar.
Kokuma, isn't that...
The girl from the Palace of Earth Spirits? Probably.
Great. See, I've done business with the older sister, but I've never seen that Koishi girl. Miss Satori did say something about the unpredictable young sister, though. I can't see this go well.
That's concerning. Yes. But you said her big sister was reliable, yes? Let's hold on to that thought, okay?
You are correct, but I don't trust this kid. She'll lure me into getting lost in the staff tunnels for eternity at any chance.
Yeah, she might try. Who knows? I'll stay put for the both of us.
I might try what?
Koichi peeked into the conversation, grinning. Both librarians jumped a little to the sudden interruption. She was really good at sneaking onto unsuspecting people, and she loved how it worked every time.
Aw, don't you worry. I'm a 5-star tour guide.
Oh, what?
You'll have to trust me and you'll see.
Teammate and Gatekeeper was finally going at their own pace. Mei Ling wasn't very good at directions or had it. Mei Ling was not very good at directions, nor did she have any park knowledge. But she knew what made Sakuya Sakuya. She was happily wandering around the park, looking left and right to pick up the vibes of the rides, to pick them, to select them for her coworker. Occasionally, she'd walk up to some families and ask them about the rides to go the extra length of making sure Sakuya would like them. Sakuya herself, on the other hand, had decided to entrust Mei Ling in doing the work this time, and followed, awaiting to be pleasantly surprised. It was nice to be the one taken care of for once. She couldn't deny that. Pardon me. Sakuya. Sakuya, look. We should probably start with this one.
Is it?
A thrill ride? No, not in a million years. It's a cute scenery ride. Are you interested?
It's a small world. Is that right?
Yeah, I've asked around and this one's a hit. Classic, they say. Initially, in the queue, Sakuya wasn't too sure Mei Ling had made the right decision. Sakuya thought her head would implode if she heard the music play just one more time.
Let's go.
But, after a while, she caught herself humming along.
Oh, no.
She gasped and covered her mouth as soon as she realized what she was doing. Mei Ling chuckled. The
Disney
indoctrination, I mean, magic is getting to you, isn't it?
Indoctrination.
Disney fever.
Disney fever happens every time I go on that ride too. I hate it. Okay.
Imagine going on rides.
I'm still not sure if it's magic or madness, Mei Ling.
Don't worry, you're just starting to loosen up the pressure, okay? Lighten up the... I don't know. You're just starting to loosen up. It's alright to enjoy this kind of stuff, you know?
Maybe you're right.
The queue wasn't moving very fast, but at least it wasn't agonizing like Space Mountain was.
For real.
Maybe it was because what lied at the end was positive? Sakuya wasn't too sure, but every step towards the ride made her feel less tense. The gatekeeper had noticed and gave her a gentle pat on her shoulder. They finally had their own seat, and the ride could finally begin. It was nothing like her first impression of the park. This was peaceful. The attention to detail, the pace of the water gently carrying them, the carefully crafted props, the works of art coming to life under her eyes. She finally had the time to look at them and appreciate them. She was mesmerized. Mei Ling, however, was half enjoying the ride, half smiling at Sakuya, who had never sported this expression of awe on her face. She had succeeded. She gave Sakuya a positive experience after all. After all these years, you deserve this one, old friend. They walked out of this ride very content. Sakuya was delighted at the experience.
Oh, Mei Ling, that was delightful. I wonder what Lady Remelia would have thought of this one.
Well, when we catch up with her, we'll have a list of things to show her. Think about it that way. This way.
I suppose you're right. Let's continue inspecting the rides then, shall we?
Absolutely. Meanwhile, on Main Street, Petroli walked out of the printout counter, clinging onto her framed pictures lovingly.
Blunder.
Okay, it's me. Wait, really? That's so out of character.
That's Flounder.
The younger one.
Oh, it is Flounder. Let me see. Let me see.
Flandre was happily hopping around to try and peek. Petroli naturally hesitated a little, but finally gave in and invited the young vampire to look at her pictures, which naturally brought everyone else to peek in to peek as well. Remilia chuckled. It truly captured the moment where she changed her mind, and she thought it was both really sweet and perfect to poke fun at. This didn't please Petroli, but after all these years, she was used to the friendly banter with her vampiric friend. In fact, she had missed it. This made her realize how everyone had been busy by themselves all this time in the mansion. It really took everyone to get lost to truly get back together, didn't it? Well, except for one person, of course.
You, over here. You still didn't tell me what your deal is.
My bad, my bad. You still don't trust me, do you?
Can't say I do.
Let's see, someone mentioned a pamphlet. I think that's, who is that, Kawakuma?
Yeah.
I think so.
It-
Well, Lady Pacioli, she really knows her stuff. We've been adding notes together on my pamphlet while you were printing your pictures. She's a genius.
Knowledge.
What did I cut out again?
No, you're good. I think the next line's a patchouli line, though.
It is.
Okay.
She's a
You will what?
genius. Ah, don't worry. We just added my little notes here. Past experiences, you know.
Hey, hey, Patchy. Did you know she was invisible to humans? She can get us in lines faster. Flander, there's no way I'm sneaking into a line. Ah, that's just too bad. I was going to take you to to VIP cuts for cast members. And all the... Wait, who?
I think that was supposed to be
It's a Koichi
Koichi.
line.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. It's not my fault, honest.
Big cast and no indicators.
Yeah.
Eh, boy. Just assume who's speaking.
Yeah.
Okay, from the top.
Yep.
That's just too bad. I was going to take you to VIP cuts for cast members and all that.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I changed my mind. Koichi, you can do whatever you wish. Let's go.
That's what I like to hear. Follow my lead.
Koichi, even though her technique was questionable, successfully won over the hearts of the librarians in no time. They took many pictures with countless characters, and naturally, they handed in every single ticket at the printout booth. Their hands were very full by the end of this. Even Flandre, gosh darn it, Even Flan got a chance to have her own chaotic photo shoot with Stitch to decorate her basement even further with those treasured memories. They got the librarians on scenery rides, and Kawakama was having the time of her life picking accessories for herself and Pacioli to match. At first, the purple mage was reluctant about wearing those childish pieces of apparel, but in the end, it grew on her just as fast as cast member meet and greets. Though, after an hour of this, Flandre and Remilia's smiles vanished gradually. Koichi noticed and decided to check on her new friends, gently patting their backs.
What's wrong? You don't look like you're having fun anymore.
Well, it's not that, but you know we're vampires, and
Remilia pointed towards the ever so brightening morning sky.
our time here is about to end. Can't handle the sun.
Even Koichi's smile got less prominent to the sentence.
Well, you've got a couple more days here, right? Right?
Actually, we're just here today.
Flandre started choking up a little, trying her best to hold her tears in, but failing to do so.
Will will we see you again?
Oh, hey, don't worry, Flan. The night's not quite over yet. Want me to take you to one last ride?
The Scarlet Sisters exchanged looks, to which Remilia took it upon herself to gently run her finger under Flandre's eye, wiping her tears with a gentle smile.
It's the ride I saved last for a reason.
Hold on. Please promise me that it's not a thrill ride.
After all this time, you still think I'd lure you in, Patchouli? How rude. Just follow me. You'll see.
The librarians by now were used to not being told about which ride they'd get on next. It was fine until now, but they were still worried that Koichi would suddenly decide to end the trip with a bang. Though their worries quickly vanished after they saw why Koichi insisted on keeping this one a surprise. Kawakama was euphoric upon seeing the building and the decor. It's like the and D words that start with D are just like poison for my tongue.
Duh.
Da-da-day.
Oh, Lady Patchouli. Oh, Lady Patchouli, would you look at that? Would you look at that? It looks just like home.
Indeed it does. Haunted mansion. Huh. Well, this should be a treat for the homesick. I can't exactly say I don't miss the mansion one bit.
Vermilia was in awe. Not a word was said. She was looking at the mansion high and low repeatedly, unable to close her mouth.
Big sis, looks like you like the place, huh?
Well, it's average. Plus, our mansion is larger and looks like the real deal. This is a pale imitation done by mortal hands. That's all.
Everyone knew this was a. Everyone knew this was the. Well, just give me a moment.
1 a.m. go brr.
Everyone knew this was a lie to cover herself up. They all gently chuckled at the young vampire, whose embarrassed, deep red blush truly reminded everyone why she was called the Scarlet Devil. Suddenly, a familiar voice.
Lady Remilia?
The Scarlet Devil's maid was also standing in the queue to the haunted mansion, mere meters away from the group. Remilia stood. Hiccups. Remilia stood there for a few seconds. Her body was not responding to the conflicting information in her head. But the joy took over, and there she was, running towards her beloved maid for a tackle hug, which Sakia received perfectly without flinching.
Oh, I'm so glad you're safe. Did you all have fun?
I missed you so much. I hope you haven't been too bored by yourself.
I've been unwinding as well, thanks to Mei Ling. I'm just glad her gut feeling was right. I'm glad you're okay.
The maid gently held the young vampire closer in comfort. Yes, this was a reminder that This was a reminder that as tough and intimidating as Remelia could get, she was still, in fact, forever a child.
You aren't upset?
Not in the slightest. Mei Ling has taken great care of me. She trusted you since the moment you vanished. She knew you'd be able to handle yourself. It's alright. I screwed up reading that part, but whatever.
Fine. Patrolli gently patted Remelia's back, giving a hearty nod to Sakia and Mei Ling. Flandre, however, did not want to go closer. The maid made eye contact with the younger sister, to which the crystal winged vampire squealed and hid behind Koishi's back for comfort.
You've got this, Flan.
You think so?
Koichi gently gave Flandre a nudge forward. Sakia held her arms forwards, ready to receive a second tackle hug from the younger vampire.
Yes, I do think so. Now go on.
Flandre took careful, slow steps towards the haunted mansion's queue. Sakia's smile did not vanish. Flandre's pace accelerated. Tap, 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 tap. The sound of the vampire's footsteps turning from a walk to a run, her crystal wings happily jingling against each other like a set of rainbow-colored sleigh bells. She took a leap forward, landing in the maid's arms. She was so small her feet would not even touch the ground, unlike Remelia's.
You're not mad at me for running off?
What is done, young mistress. I'm just relieved to see you safe and in a good mood.
Flandre, ever so emotional, started bawling her eyes out. She was a sobbing mess, clinging onto Sakia. She was completely unable to stop crying out of stress relief, let alone utter a single word. Single word. But that was okay. Sakia understood that.
Today, you've done something amazing, young mistress.
Hmm?
I doubted you'd be alright by yourself, but you taught all of us something today.
The young vampire sniffled, tightening her embrace some more around her old friend.
And look, even Lady Patchouli, Korkuma, your sister. You made them all follow in your carefree footsteps.
Continued the maid.
Do you realize what power you have?
Flandre's grip around the head maid tightened. She looked like a crimson koala.
I'm so proud of you, young mistress.
Flandre took a long sniffle to be able to say something between the tears.
I love this family.
I do too, young mistress. I do too.
Sakia put Flandre back down as soon as the tears stopped flowing. She stretched her wings and squeezed her own cheeks to be able to feel her own face again.
Is this me again?
Yeah.
It's a Flander line.
I'm sorry, is it pronounced Flander or Flandre or Flander? I don't know.
I think it's Flander.
I say Flander because the Japanese is Frandoru.
Flanderu.
So, are we writing this together or what?
Sakia chuckled. There she was. She was back to her true, fun-loving self.
Naturally, young mistress. Now let's not get our hopes up too high. I doubt this is as authentic as our home can get.
Still looks like fun.
Right, it surely does.
The 6 members of the Scarlet Devil Mansion secured their spot in the queue for the ride. Flandre looked behind her and gestured to Koishi to come for one last ride. She introduced herself to the two remaining members, and fortunately, Sakia had heard about her before, being in contact with the Palace of Earth Spirits occasionally. The queue was quite long, even at this hour, so they had a lot of time to chat, talk about their own individual adventures, and to realize how close they were to meet up with each other on so many occasions. They shared their different experiences on rides they'd all been on, including the dreaded, infamous Space Mountain, which made Mei Ling and Sakia shiver by its mere mention. Their turn to get in the ride itself came. They did not
Hello.
the vampire
That's
lights
unfortunate.
the interior hall.
Oh, oh. You popped
Am I-
out there.
They
Am I
did not
back?
expect.
It seems like you are.
I hate this computer. They did not expect the stretching roof scene at the entrance, and the vampires liked the interior hallways with all the changing paintings and portraits. They found the theme song of the ride quite catchy, and this turned out to be a pleasant experience. In the end, they walked out satisfied, but also homesick. Finally, it was time to leave before the first sun rays would appear. Flan hugged Koichi with almost all of her strength.
I'm gonna miss you.
Aw, I'm gonna miss you too. But hey, it's okay, right? I know where you live now, and you know how good I am at sneaking into buildings.
Is this a threat?
It's even worse the following one.
Oh my fucking god, you're right. uh, I'll keep my basement open for you.
I'm glad, and you'll always be welcome at the Palace of the Earth Spirits. It'll be my turn to introduce you to everyone.
Bet.
They waved at each other. They waved each other. They waved each other and my vocal cords goodbye. Now satisfied and content that they'll see each other again soon. That they would see each other again soon. Tense consistency. Goodness. Remelia held out her hand to her sister.
Come on, I know it's hard, but we've got each other, right?
Flandre nodded excitedly, still not without a little tear in her left eye.
Mm-hmm. We'll be back someday.
That's the spirit exactly. We own the place now.
The Scarlet Devil playfully ruffled through her sister's now messy hair and took her by the hand to pass the park's exit. When the younger sister's heart started hurting a bit from leaving, she would squeeze she'd squeeze Remy's hand, to which the older vampire would caress her hand with her thumb.
It's okay. I'm here.
Yeah.
They finally crossed the exit. They had left the Magic Kingdom for good. One more rest at the hotel, and they'd all be back to Gensokyo. Flan switched back to her usual mansion attire. She had dearly missed how much more range her movements had in her usual outfit. The next night came, and Flan unpacked all her baggage in her basement. She hung up all of her cast member printouts above her bed, and put Stitch next to all her stuffed animals, gently giving him a pat. The sound of her basement door creaking could be heard. She turned back to see her sister, smiling.
How are you holding up?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I missed the place, but I'm happy with all the things we brought back.
Good.
Vermilia drew closer and stared intensely at her sister without a word, almost frowning from the intensity of her own gaze.
Big sis? Is there something wrong?
Poke! She didn't even notice Vermilia quietly sliding her plush Maleficent behind her to give her a little nudge on the cheek. Flan cackled.
Not at 1 in the morning, I won't.
Something's telling me we've got a lot of playing to catch up on, Flan.
The younger vampire's eyes lit up to those words. Vermilia gave her little sister a warm smile.
Really?
Well, duh. Why else would I be in your basement right now, you silly little thing?
I'm too
I'm
mature
happy.
for that. I'm an adult.
No!
Stop. Vermilia started relentlessly poking her sister. They looked like they looked like two kittens fighting.
I mean, Of course, if that's not what you want, I can walk out, you know. Ugh.
Before she knew it, she was tackled to the ground under her little sister's weight.
I'd love to share memories with you.
Vermilia smirked, poking her sister's tiny nose again. Truly, two kittens fighting.
Now, Flan, where should we start?
And that is the end of the story.
Thank God.
I think this one was very funny.
We're done. we
What do you mean,
fun.
we stuff?
It was.
I mean,
a
I have
very-
to.
It was a very well written story that got me into the mindset of all the characters that were involved, and without any existing background on the series, it was still possible for me to understand everything.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say.
liked how Lamborghini knowledge was written in this series. It was very
Yeah.
funny.
Patchouli is very good.
Yeah.
Um, sure-
Lamborghinis.
I'm sure Harry may have already seen this, but I'm sending a picture in the chat.
Oh yes.
This is the face I imagine Patchy was making in the photos with Pluto.
One.
I do have one complaint toward the author's writing style.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
we
we
all know
men-
what this is gonna
I
be.
think we mentioned this in the last part as well. Well,
Who the fuck is speaking?
okay, I'll just put this image in the stream real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
We all
okay,
knew Pluto was a big fan of knowledge. Pluto loves his Lamborghinis.
yeah,
This is a
the
good
difficult-
image.
The occasional difficult, excuse
It's a
me,
very good image. It's a very good.
Whoa.
the occasional difficulty in parsing who's speaking when, and occasional difficulty in parsing character, I guess, order, and
Mm-hmm.
tense consistency or lack thereof aside. Yeah, it was a very cute story. I have like bare minimum knowledge of the Touhou cast, so this is just a it's just a cute little slice of life thing.
I find it very funny how I keep picking characters that are like out of the main plot for a long chunk of time. It keeps happening and I don't know how to stop it.
Don't worry, I'm gonna give you the voice of I don't know, Perry the Parasol in my Mario story. He gets like 2 lines.
Let's go. That's gonna be my only role in that one too. It's gonna be the
Yeah.
best.
I guess since I think we're
Oh, have you taken my old position of never having any lines because no one can ever anticipate if I'm actually going to be here?
Well, for me, it's
Yeah.
like I'm pretty much always gonna be here, but I just keep picking characters that have no lines.
well, I assume this is gonna be the last Touhou story for a while. I don't think we have any other ones that are like ongoing.
Finally,
Nah,
we're gonna dodge
nothing.
the Touhous like Raymu dodging bullets.
So,
Yeah,
was
Ray-
that
Ray
was
West,
that
that's
was that
the-
Rainbow Hikare.
was that meant to be
Rainbow.
like Reimu and was it Rambo or whatever his name is?
Rambo.
I was thinking
Rainbow.
Rambo,
thinking
the Minecraft streamer.
I was thinking like Sylvester Stallone.
I was thinking
Oh,
Reimu and
Rambo.
Yeah, that
I was
guy.
thinking I was
Yeah.
thinking Reimu and Elmo from Sesame Street.
Oh lord.
Like that's
Yes.
like when's that fan game happening?
Well, they're
Yeah.
both red.
I guess
No.
what is it? Next time we go to do Touhou, probably be that Kingdom Hearts crossover.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God.
More Disney characters that I can
Yo, let's
butcher.
go.
Yeah, have fun with that. Oh god.
Oh god.
Speaking of butchering Disney characters, no.
Yeah, have fun. Whoever voices Donald.
Yeah, I'm not doing Donald.
They could
Someone
not
else
do
can-
Donald.
What we're gonna do is we're just gonna take voice clips from the Kingdom Hearts series. We're just gonna play that instead of actually reading his part.
Wait, no, there's an episode of DuckTales where Donald like he like ingests some sort of medicine and it makes his voice normal.
Yeah, what happens is Gyro like makes Donald swallow like a voice modulator or something, and it makes him sound normal. Yeah.
Yeah, we can just do it based off of that voice.
Yeah.
He sounds like
Oh.
Nathan Drake. It's great.
Oh, we should totally find a story based on the modern DuckTales reboot.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
So I enjoyed it well enough, and I don't think I have much else to say, but it was cute. I enjoyed
Yeah.
the dynamic between the three teams, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
I look,
fun
I look, I look
fun
forward to being
fact.
reminded of this story next year.
Oh yeah, when we do the anniversary thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when I tried to voice Snow White?
Well, hopefully,
No
I
one
died in the
remembers
background. Yeah.
well,
I
hopefully we.
remember you dying, but
Well,
I
hopefully
remember
for
Scrappy
the.
dying like 5 times.
Yeah, no, hopefully in the 3-year anniversary we have more stories to talk about because the 2-year one was really short.
I like
Yeah, but the 2-year one was also more concise.
Hmm.
Well, yeah,
Got to
but
the
you
point.
know, still.
Yes, it was concise.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's all I got to say on the story. If no one else has any feedback, then I guess I can just kind of lay out future plans with quotation marks for the rest.
I'll just say this. I don't usually like do voices during these readings, but I still have to be awake for this. So you're welcome.
You bring this on yourself.
Yeah. Back to
Proceeds to
the.
do both streaming and voice acting.
Oh yeah, he's gonna start reading everything. It's gonna be great. He should solo Total Drama Equestria for
Oh
us.
no.
Oh,
Do you have any idea how many characters are in that?
There's at least
I
like
do.
38
legitimately
total drama
considering
characters.
dropping
I'm
out of
sure
that
there's
because
more
it's such
others.
a nightmare.
Single character. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like the
So
first
what we're
chapter.
gonna do
Yeah.
is we're
go on.
gonna get an individual reader for every character, and then have Scrappy narrate.
I'm gonna pick
Uh.
10 characters, and they're gonna be the first 10 that get voted off.
Oh gosh, that sounds about right. That's the one thing that we kind of like. We only read the first chapter, so I forget. It's going to get people are going to get eliminated, but it's also an MLP crossover, so it's probably a slice of life. So the eliminated people are probably still in the town.
Possibly, yeah.
Who knows? I haven't read ahead because I'm lazy.
Oh,
It's
well,
fine,
the
because they
the
portray
chapters,
season 7 derpies as far as the intro is concerned.
the chapters are like 50 years long, so yeah, good luck with that.
Hmm.
They are actually so fucking long.
We'll get to it in due time.
Yeah.
Like now that we have people who are reasonably game for anything.
Sounds like
we
it'd
might-
take like multiple streams for a chapter.
Oh, that's actually what happened for chapter 1.
Yeah, I think
Oh
chapter.
no!
I think chapter 1 took like 2.
Too.
Yeah.
Like I
Speaking,
imagine.
speaking of finally having people available for streaming, don't forget to check our merch link in the description below for our
That
B
t-
Team t-shirts.
That totally
B
exists.
B Team.
Oh, God.
B team.
The entirety of
Uh.
C's feels like a B team sometimes.
Yeah.
The B.
I have
The B
no,
stands
no,
for
no.
team.
I keep mentioning this, but I officially left C's brain and I'm still here.
Actually, yeah. Harry is technically the only A team member because
Pretty
Joey is a
much.
former member. I was never a member, and Raideran and Pedriva keep insisting that they're the B team. So
B team.
there's only one A team member in this call right now,
Yeah.
and he didn't read anything.
Good.
Yeah.
Hi.
See
He's
that's what
just
the A
playing the
team
game.
does. The A team brings the content. We bring the reading.
So
Oh,
yeah,
God.
we will resume Total Drama Equestria eventually, sometime this year. Okay, yeah, Scooby-Doo story, which is just it's like a follow-up to the Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, so like it's a pretty large cast. Yeah, you can join if you're interested, but it's technically just a stopgap that we kind of use when we have nothing else. Like I'm half expecting that the cast lineup of that specific story will change every episode, just because
Mm.
like that could be interesting for like a social experiment if nothing else. Okay, let's see. And I think that's about it. Like we don't have, we only have like, and yeah, I mentioned this like before we started recording, but again, the Super Mario show is going to be read, resumed eventually. Just I need specific little things to line up. I will not elaborate any further on that.
Right.
And yes, I will be resuming my update to the Love Live story I wrote last year. So yeah, I guess you all could join that if you're interested. Like we do probably need more voices for it.
Time to get shiny. I don't even know which Love Live it is, but time to
Sunshine,
get shiny.
sunshine.
So I was
Sunshine.
correct. Let's go. I was correct.
I was thinking Idolmaster shiny colors.
Hey, that too.
So yeah,
The fuck's a love life?
hell.
Understood. Have they?
Have to.
So yeah, that's about all I'm doing. I'm working on something with Tanner, I think. So that'll be read eventually. Like we got stuff. We just until recently we just didn't have the people.
Well, now you have some people.
Yeah.
Yes.
People who exist.
More.
More.
Like yeah, we finished this story, so technically we only have two question mark like two really ongoing narrative based stories that are on deck. So
Speaking of more people, hey B Team, you've got friends, right?
I have friends, but they don't like to rate stuff.
Not
a shame.
friends that are into fan fiction.
story of my
That's a
life.
shame. They're gonna be into fanfiction in a minute.
Context. Most of my friends didn't even get into anime until like a year ago.
Oh.
So they're behind on a lot of things when it comes to the internet.
Well, time to catch them up to speed. We'll start with the Harry Potter Puppet Pals and work our way up.
Other pals, yo.
That was like
Yes.
the
Aged
yeah.
10 years here and that.
That was like one of the first things I saw on the internet.
Lesson 1, the Harry Potter Puppet Pals. Lesson 2, fucking the stick figure collections.
Oh gosh. Okay, so
Lesson
I think
3
that's-
will be YTPs.
Yeah.
oh dear.
The laser
So-
collection.
Yes, the laser collections.
Yeah, Dr. Octagonopus though.
Whoa.
So I think that's about it as far as planning it goes on my end.
Dr.
So
Octagonopus kill his son.
Yes.
you're,
On
referring to
accident, but
okay.
yes.
you're referring to a
But
character.
here's the thing though, right? It was still canonical.
Yeah, it was
You're
canon.
He stayed dead.
Yeah, in
You're
one of the
referring to
following
a-
episodes, he was arrested, and all he could say was "oops," and there was no part.
You're referring to a character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because all right.
So we're doing a laser collection fan fiction next year.
Does exist.
That'd be one hell of an episode.
Dr. Octagonopus's origin story.
I understood some of those words, and I don't care to find out the meaning.
Wow.
The
That's
power of the sun in the
His mouth.
It's like when you saw me get like super hyped about Kingdom Hearts 4 and you were just like, I understood some of these words.
Why again are they doing a Kingdom Hearts 4?
Because Nomura never finished the story.
There's a story?
We're not getting into this.
something Yozora.
Yeah.
I think we
Quadron.
already did a Kingdom Hearts podcast.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, I would not actually be opposed to rejoining Seaspring to get the podcast back up.
we had a podcast.
Well, that's
We have
that.
two.
I think that's a story to discuss off screen.
We will discuss that off screen.
Okay, I cut out. Surprise, surprise. So I think you said something about Kingdom Hearts 4, Harry.
No, it wasn't anything specific. It was just funny. I was like, when I was like super hyped about it, and then you were just like, I understood some of those words you said.
It's the truffle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes, Strelitzia. I know that word.
Erlitzia, like that mech from Darling in the Franxx?
Yeah, exactly like that mech.
Oh god.
I think Yozora is some kind of skin cream.
What?
Yeah.
So,
Oh god.
oh gosh.
And then
All right.
there's
Well, next
yeah.
episode will be. It'll be this week. It'll be this month. Like we have people now. We can maybe
Yeah.
possibly get back to a somewhat rhythmic release schedule of episodes again. So
Yeah, and
I'll
hopefully
tell you what I'm doing that Saturday.
we get to Total Drama Equestria soon, so was it Gary doesn't like crucify me or something.
it is coming, Gary. Don't worry. Yeah, I could like kind of like resume my writing for my stuff so we actually have material.
Yes.
Mm,
And
Ah, yes, because the internet doesn't have enough fan fiction.
Oh,
No, we're
boy.
not reading One Direction fan fiction written by 13-year-olds in 2008.
What the
they
hell?
didn't exist.
Four.
They didn't exist in 2008. What are you talking about?
Dream fan
they've
fiction.
been around since the dawn of time, don't you know?
Oh
One
Christ.
Direction is the original K-pop, don't you know?
No, it fucking is not. JLS's. Anyway,
Oh.
Moving on.
I don't even know.
What was I gonna say? So yeah, I have stuff to read, but some of it requires Tanner's presence. So we'll have to fish him out of whatever abyss he's hiding in right now.
Yeah, he's been away for a long time now.
And of course, if you are interested in joining our wonderful, colorful family, please of course send a PM to the Seas Brain YouTube channel. Not YouTube channel. Well, yes, you can. That or our Gmail, or just contact Harry.
Yeah, just spam my DMs. It'll be great.
DMs on YouTube? What? I thought they got rid of those.
I think they did.
I think they did.
So,
Yeah,
Gmail.
I don't know. Just send it to my email or something. Or I don't know.
Oh,
to be
remember
fair, I've been
YouTube
spamming
friends?
Harry's DM since like 2015. It doesn't get old.
Well, I think that's all I have to say. So I thank my cast members for joining me for finishing this, and I wish all of you a good night. Please take care of yourselves.
Good morning.
Have fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye.